And I think we're live. Are we live? Can someone confirm that we're live? I think we are. I think we're here, folks. I'm going to go ahead and roll with it, and somebody can cut me the hell off if we're not. Hey, tonight, this night, the title is You Believe What? I Believe What? What do we believe? I'll tell you this. When I was a minister way back yonder in the day, we were prepared to always be ready on excellence. Anybody else have any other traumas, religious traumas? Always be excellent, always be perfect, always be ready for your Savior and Lord at any point and in any way. And as a minister, as a young resident pastor way back, we were prepared. You always be ready not only to give an account, folks, but also to stand up and lead a congregation, fucking kumbaya and shit as needed. And so tonight, when I said, yes, I want to learn how the back end works, and then we found out our beloved prepared host fell ill. We're here for you, brother. And what do we do? How do we do? How do I do this? I don't even know what the hell I'm doing, but I know this. I know we're here to talk about what y'all believe in. What do y'all believe in? Because I'll tell you this, back even before I was a young pastoral preparee, way back in high school, when I was working at my dad's industrial shop, there was a guy there, this beautiful motherfucker. He said, "You're a who? You're a what?" I said, "I started a ministry. I'm 16 years old. I started a ministry. I'm going to become a minister, yada, yada, yada." And he said, "Why would you ever believe in a God?" And I said to him, "What do you mean, why would I believe in a God?" "Because he's here and he's obvious and he's all-powering everything. Why wouldn't I believe in a God? This God, the real God, the true God." And he said to me, "Because you can believe in any damn thing you want to." He goes, "I could pick up this here piece of wood." It was a kitchen cabinet industrial factory, so there was lumber everywhere. Picked up a piece of lumber. He said, "I could hold this in the air and say, 'This is my God,' if I want to. And it would be just as responsive as yours is." Oh, man. And yet, in my over-arrogance, I did not hear the good word of my brother, the atheist. Instead, I continued on and I wasted the next 12, 15, almost 20 years of my life pursuing the God of my dreams. And then I came to realizations. Schmealizations. What we want to know is, what do you believe or what don't you believe? I don't know, but I know this. I know that we're going to talk tonight, so let's talk. Call in and talk. I want to hear, what do you believe or what don't you believe? We're going to pull Mikey in here in a moment. We're going to have a great fucking time tonight because it's time to talk. Let's talk in 3, 2, 1, now.
This is Skeptic Haven. Let's talk.
Oh, Mikey, my man.
Yo, what?
Welcome to the party. How you doing, brother?
I am sleepy because the wife just got done with staycation week, and now I feel like we need a vacation from the staycation because we got too much stuff done around the house. The little stinky mama is running wild. She's had so much extra attention, and we got to do all these extra trips. So I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. And now Neil's sick.
Jeez.
So I was like, oh, okay. So I can go to sleep early. And then I was like, nope, we got Drew out here. And Drew out here has all the energy. So now I have to match because I'm not going to lose.
No, you're good.
Drew.
You're good.
I can't.
Like, Drew has all the energy, but doesn't know how to do any of this. So, but no, I'm learning. I'm here to learn tonight.
You're not learning for me. I know what I know.
Oh, you're good, brother.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
So you said stinky little mama, how old?
She just turned 3.
Just turned 3.
So she has got most of her motor skills 1,000% confidence. Like I can hold a spoon. So surely I can walk up that ladder. That's just like, no, 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 no. or I just want to take a bite of this chicken nugget. But by bite, I mean shove as many in my face as possible before anybody can catch me. It's
Hey.
like, what are you doing?
She's living. That's life right there. That's life.
Only thing better than one chicken nugget is an entire mouthful of chicken nugget.
I mean, Mikey, when was the last time you checked to see how many chicken nuggets you could fit?
See, that's the thing. I don't check often enough, so I can't even give you like what's a real answer? A dozen? Let us know in the chat. How many chicken nuggets can you fit in your mouth?
Yes.
And when's the last time you tested?
Yeah, right.
Because I don't want your personal best up here just trying to show off. You know what I mean? Like, this needs to be a recent score.
And we need evidence.
Fact.
I mean, how far does anecdotal really go?
It's funny. It's funny you should mention that because not to get political, it's just so crazy that everyone's like, yo, these religions are totally innocuous. Let people believe whatever they want to believe. It's not going to have any really like long-term damaging effects. It's not like, I don't know, there's a bunch of American Christo-fascists trying to run a crusade in the Middle East right now. But hey, it's just fine. They're just waving the tambourine and just singing some songs. There's nothing else behind it. It's not a vehicle to control people and get them to do whatever you want. And there's definitely not any obvious evidence of that right now. So if you disagree, you can call. Hey,
call. Let us know. Right.
Unless you're scared.
I mean, I think there's a lot of folks out here who are scared, right? Who are scared of being wrong. Seriously though, how many people out here are just death gripping, hoping that everything they've placed their entire lives on, that line, that it's real, right? How many people are out here looking around? Like you'll see these stories every once in a while of former Trump supporters who, like, once it impacts their life, now like, oh, okay, now I don't support him. Now that my cousin was deported, now that, my business is suffering, now that I'm getting hit with all this big tariff hit in business, etc. Now I'm wondering.
Let me interrupt you. It's not only the deported, it's going to be the deployed.
Well, yeah. I mean, over and over again, right? And so you got all these Trump folks who are like, you know what? Now I no longer, now I've come to grips with the fact that, maybe I was wrong, right? And so how many, though, on the Jesus side of things are looking around going, holy fuck, what if I'm wrong about all of it, right? And how many people is it that the shit with Trump is what led them to also deconstruct their faith, because it was their faith that brought them to Trump. And now they see that this isn't happening the way they thought it would.
Like, I thought, like, the demon you remember the first time around he had like the demon sex lady from South Africa or something? I forgot her name. Everybody was doing episodes about her. It was a real hoot.
Yeah.
He went from her, which was hilarious, to the guy who's like in all of the hooded arrangement rooms. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, you're bringing him to the White House? Okay, guys. I mean, you could have just, I don't know, brought a Bill Nye up there to like show you how to make your own telescope. Like, you could have did anything. Miss Rachel could have went up there and did icky sticky bubblegum. Like, you could have did anything. But hey, let's give these people a platform to just not do anything, apparently.
Right. No.
Sheesh.
For real. Yeah, it's unreal. It's unreal.
And all we wanted to do was give you science and love and tolerance, but that's too much.
Yep. Science. Oh yeah, Paula White, I think was who it was, right? That she
was up there
fun
too.
Fun stuff. I don't know. Now, Mikey, I forget. I don't recall all of your story.
Mm-hmm.
You are not a lifelong atheist. You are a former theist of some variety or another.
Yeah, I'm a pastor's kid.
You're a pastor's kid.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you talk about Paula White, you talk about some of these different kinds of things. Or charismatic Pentecostal type stuff. Is that sort of the flavor that you have some experience in, or not so much? Or
are you familiar with the Church of Jesus in Christ? Yeah, Kojic.
oh,
Church of God, Church of God in Christ. That's what it is.
okay.
So
that particular mix I might not be super well versed on. Yeah.
Take like Southern Baptist and add on a full, 38 foot-pounds of torque, like a full walloping of fundamentalism, like on top of it. So they're like, no, you read like the whole chapter every time, like the book nerdiest, strictest, like literally everything to the letter, like just super, super strict. But still with the good music and everything and the good food.
Okay.
So it's just unbelievably stupid. Like my dad pulled my older sisters out of school because like they wanted them to wear shorts for gym class. Heaven forbid the girls wear shorts during sports. I mean, he wasn't having it, and definitely not pants.
Well, I mean,
not my daughters.
Do women and girls even have legs? Are they allowed to even have legs? Isn't it it's just like a torso that goes down and then feet at the bottom, right?
That's between them and God, whether or not they have individual legs or just one leg with 2 feet on the bottom. That's so just one dolphin, like a mermaid.
Like a mermaid. Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
And they just shuffle their feet. Or a penguin.
Oh, we apologize for those who have actually lived this plight of having expectations such as this, and here us humans who have been privileged enough to flaunt our legs unchastised throughout our lives can sit here and laugh and chuckle. But yeah, wow, shit is fucked.
But yeah, wow. So him and my mom split, and then like my stepdad was like in the same religion, so there was no change there. And then like I moved up here to Chicagoland a few times, and it was more or less the same, but like up here the churches were like less serious. So that was like, oh, okay, so this is light work. I don't even have to do this much homework here. Which is always hilarious to me because whenever I get into these like quote unquote debates with believers and they're just trying to throw scriptures in my face, I'm like, first of all, he wasn't even talking to us. That letter is just someone. Why am I arguing this with you? You don't even know what this book is about. Like, you don't even know what you're quoting right now. You're just throwing stuff at me. So if you're a believer out there, don't just assume that you know more about your religious book than an atheist, because they probably have already read it 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
And then had to do and then like we're doing a video about a specific thing, so they had to read that part like a couple of times over. So I mean, I'm just saying there's a good chance they've outread you on this.
Maybe, just maybe. Yeah.
Strong possibility.
Mikey, I don't know how much detail you go into this publicly online, but where in Chicagoland are you? Or
I'm in the burbs. I'm in the burbs. I've been bouncing from burb to burb. Because the city is almost cheaper now.
Yeah,
like a 2-bedroom in the city is like $2,200 right now. That's not terrible considering it's almost like out here in the burbs. It's fucking getting bare on have to take out a mortgage for your rent. It's crazy.
Well, because I remember, so I was in Chicago for a little over 20 years, and then I moved to the Twin Cities in 2018. So I've been pretty disconnected for a while now, coming up close to a decade, I suppose. Prior to that, though, the 20 years that I was in Chicago, I mean, you were seeing over those 2 decades that I was there, you saw there had already been well in process a push to the suburbs for a long time before me.
Oh yeah.
But then you started to see, over those years that I was there, which was late 90s to late 2010s, you started to see this shift of gentrification back into the city where you've got a bunch of rich white bougie folks just buying everything up,
The
taking
Naperville kids.
perfectly good neighborhoods where I lived and taking them and trying to transform them. And now rents are skyrocketing and all this. And so thinking like even like Uptown, like Jeff Park, like Portage Park. So northwest side, but not necessarily like the richest of rich areas by any means at all.
Yeah, not
and I'm just seeing everything skyrocket. Yeah, not Wrigleyville. I never fucking lived in Wrigleyville. Although it can be a party on occasion, depending on what party you're looking for. But
it's affordable. Yeah. It's affordable now, more so really? than like in the like a Highland Park or like a Naperville. Like to find somewhere to rent there, you're way better off living in the city. Like you can rent for what the rent is out here in some of the suburbs, because a lot of people are kind of, I mean, if you can stomach the winters, there's nothing wrong with living almost an hour away from downtown, because you still kind of have that access to like go see a concert. If you want to just go to the beach, if there's like an outdoor festival, because Lollapalooza is down there. So like it's nice to be able to like, I'll sit on 55 South for an hour as long as I can get the hell away from all these people until we get to hang out again.
Yeah.
Or if you live close to a metro station or something like that, like it's not bad. It's not bad. Fuck that.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Wow. Well, folks, if you want to weigh in on the reverse gentrification of
that's what I was
the city of Chicago, feel free to call in on that. We would love to hear about how many chicken nuggies you can carry in your mouth through airport security. Although I wonder if ICE's assistance at Homeland Security, I don't know, is that going to make it more or less likely that you'll be able to smuggle all the chicken nuggies via mouth into the terminal? There's so many things we want to hear. Do you think that your God is more likely to be real than a divine piece of wood or not? What is it that makes you believe what you believe? Let's talk about something anyway. Yeah.
Oh,
Mikey, what do you got brewing there, Mikey?
The gentrify thing I remembered.
Yeah.
Not only do we have to worry about the regular kind of gentrification, but now there's this AI gentrification, because now private equity can just run everything through an algorithm that mocks that horrible gentrification process and do it at mass and quickly, and buy the entire neighborhood cash, all the available homes cash, and now they're all up for rent. All the rents are, for what would be $1,500 is now $2,400. And guess what? It's universal. It's across the map. Everybody's rent went up in the same spike, so there's literally nowhere to go.
That's insane. Yeah. It's
also fuck AI.
Yeah. Also fuck AI. Fuck AI. It's wild with AI. It fucks up things. It's helpful in some stuff, right? And so there's that whole question as well of, okay, so here's something else we can talk about a bit. Maybe folks want to call in, because I know AI and the use of AI can definitely stir some feels and some thoughts and some dialogue. Let's talk, right? And by no means do I think I have the perfect position. I'm still sorting through and stuff. But Mikey, as I'm thinking through AI, like there's certain elements of it where there's unethical uses, or at least less than best uses, I suppose, right? Like, are there things where I can pay a human to do the work for me? Are there things where it's not going to make a difference one way or the other, right? If I ask ChatGPT to help me plan out my day, well, it's not like if ChatGPT wasn't there, I would hire a personal assistant to help me plan my day, right? But then there's other things where maybe grabbing artwork, things like that. Like, hey, the other day I was wanting to put some artwork together. And so I eventually hired a designer. But first I said, well, let's get the ball rolling with some ideas. And I used ChatGPT. Was that okay? or was that
No.
unethical? But I said,
No.
but let's finish it out. But ultimately, I want to hire a human designer, and I want that human touch anyway. But I thought, you know what? And if it's going to cost me the same with the human designer, but it's going to take so much longer to explain what I want with them, let's be more efficient with that. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Yes, no, maybe. Who cares?
I will grant you everything you just said. If we weren't actively poisoning people in the process.
Okay.
If we just figured it out, you know what I'm saying? Then we have the moral talk, we have the ethical talk. We can do all of that after we're not just jacking up people's electricity, water, and poisoning them because fucking Grok needs 1,000 gas turbines and just dumps garbage into the air for, you guessed it, the people who just got gentrified and put into a crappy area. That's where they're building all of this stuff. So if we solve that, then hey, I will give everybody every other argument they want, and we will argue it on the merits. But you don't want it in no one would want it in their neighborhood. So it turns into a NIMBY issue where it's like where I get to have the benefits of said thing, but all fallout from said thing is so far away from me, which is kind of a very American thing. Like we don't know what, like we get our meat already, you know, pre-cut and portioned. We don't have to worry about slaughtering an animal. Our vegetable comes washed and sliced into the exact proportions that we needed, and we just lay it out like this is how it's supposed to be. You don't know about the grubs and the spiders and everything else in the garden. You don't have to worry about that. None of that is your concern. You don't have to get your nails dirty. That our consumerist nature is ultimately not good for us. So I think all of us could do a little bit of getting stuck on an idea for about a week until you finally crack it in your brain, or to do some really bad sketches and ask a friend to help you. Or, I mean, hey guys, I know this AI music is big, but you know what is still available? Learning how to play an instrument. Call it crazy. I mean, you can still pick up. They still sell instruments. You know what I'm saying? And if you need art, they still sell notepads and pens. You could attempt. I mean, you could at least attempt to try to enjoy the making process yourself. I mean, that's something that you don't really want to offload, those things that separate us from beasts, that super prefrontal cortex we have that gives memory or gives meaning to our memories in a way that we can't really measure for other people. But we have nostalgia. Like we miss commercials.
Oh, yes, we do. Yes, we do.
We're weird creatures. So let's accentuate and celebrate our weird stuff. We don't want to program that into a box and into that box and another box, and that box spits it into someone's face. Like I warned everybody about the AI music thing, and everybody looked at me like I was crazy. No one's gonna listen to it. Not only have AI artists,
I don't think I've heard it. Somebody else put my wife AI music is terrible in the chat. I don't know that I've heard AI music. So tell me, Mikey, or somebody else call in. Yeah.
There's AI music that is charting.
Really?
Yes.
Like, okay.
Yes, it's on the radio, it's charting. So
wait, no, you know what? I did that's right. I heard somebody shared with me a few months ago, maybe it was a while ago, and I'm terrible. I don't really keep up with what music is charting or it's not. I have my own little niche that I listen to, and oftentimes what I listen to is Apple Music Chill, and the reason why I listen to Apple Music rather than other more popular ones is because I pulled musicians on what's the best one I should do. And what I found out, at least from what I had found over the main one that starts with an S, whatever that's called. And so
Songify.
Is that, no. Yes, that one, Spotify, is that this one pays all of the teams, royalties, all production, and all the musicians more equitable than any other one does. That is why I use Apple Music over Spotify or any others. But so
I have music on there. And
do
right.
you really? You have music on Apple Music?
It might still be up there.
Yeah.
I go through like the distributors or whatever, but they do pay the most. Do you know what the most is? 0.0048 per play. So
if I'm told
to the other ones that are like
the other ones don't pay anything,
it's like 0.48. The other one's like 0.24. Like when you get after the two extra zeros behind the penny, and it's just like, yeah, you do double. Thank you, man. I got 8 cents instead of 4 cents. That was a good year we had for those, those streams. So they're all kind of bad. If you're better off buying physical stuff from people. Call me crazy. I know it's old school, but you can get a disc or if they're cool, it's just sending you a file. It's the way to go. Screw these distributors, man.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
I got a CD from somebody, and I want to go back to the AI music thing. Well, I guess just to say that quick, somebody shared with me some AI country music, but it was all like, it was like country music making fun of country music, whatever it was. But yeah, I guess that was AI. But somebody shared with me, I participated in someone's, y'all remember DC Talk, Kevin Max?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Kevin Max,
people think
I participated in a Kickstarter for Kevin Max's current album, or his album from a year or something ago. And so for the Kickstarter, they sent me a CD of something. And I'm like, what the hell do I do? I don't even have a CD player anymore. I don't know what. And I'm going through, I have a box of DVDs, Blu-rays. I don't have a Blu-ray player. I don't have anything, nothing.
You're gonna have to go buy a $500 PlayStation because you need somewhere to listen to a disc. That's all we got left is video games.
So tell me your thoughts on this. Share some thoughts here, because if you want to, and anybody else who wants to call in as well. Okay. So like with a lot of this stuff. So something I remember from when I was a kid growing up in the church, whatever, and you're always, sorry, there's this floaty thing. So, banning, protesting, blocking, etc. corporations is not anything new these days. And I remember when I was a kid, we were always banning, protesting Target, because back then, at least what we were told in the church, was they were pro-abortion rights. So we don't go to Target. We don't go to, and there were always all these different, this year we're not going here, that year, the next year we're not going there. We're not doing all these different things. Now maybe we're not going to Target for other reasons. Right. And so
F around and find out, baby.
Right? But so, and a conclusion I came to early as when I was a pastor is everybody was always telling me, okay, from the pulpit, you need to tell people, don't go to this store and don't go to that store and don't go to this store and don't go to that store. And sometimes, and there's just, it seems at times, at least it seemed to me back then, that there was always a different store. Okay. Yeah. All right. All right. So here's a little transparency behind the curtain real quick. Okay. Like I told y'all earlier, I originally came on to learn how to become a host and do all the tools. And so I'm looking on here, I see, call, there's a call. And then I look over at the call thing and I'm like, there's not a call. Where's the call? And then I realized it was my wife in the public chat telling people to call. So yes, call people, call while I figure out what the fuck I'm doing back here.
She set you up.
Call.
She set you up.
She set me up.
She put the little phone emoji to make you think there was a call to make this whole thing happen right now. That's messed up.
So,
that is a layered troll.
Layered. Who knew that the apostasy would apostatize me with all this bullshit? Yeah,
in front of everybody.
In front of everybody,
wow.
Setting me up to fail. Setting me up for fail.
They call it love.
God damn. Oh. But a conclusion I came to as an early pastor, mind you, was everybody's got a different list of pros and cons of what kinds of corporations should or shouldn't be supported. Yeah. And that sometimes if you look close enough, you can find a reason to not support anybody. They're all a bunch of fucking money hungry corporations, right? Is there really a good reason for just about any of them? And like just now when we're talking about with music, right? And I say, okay, well, when 2 years ago, I had never been on a music subscription service in my life. I just bought individual music up until about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Damn right.
And so I did a poll where I'm like, okay, I think I'm finally going to do a subscription service. Which one should I do? And I really took it seriously as they started floating in. You're my hype girl, babe. You're my hype girl. Some people hate Babe, but she begs me to call her. Anyway, that's a whole other story. But so I really looked at it and I said, this is the first time I've seen Neil without a banana. Yeah. Well,
no
bandana. Is her hair about the same length? I don't know.
No.
Well, yeah. And AJ was said that Neil transubstantiated to become Drew, or do I say that the opposite? I'm transubstantiated to actually be Neil. I just need to tie my hair back and get a bandana.
Neil's hair is like deep into his chest. It's long.
Oh, is it longer?
Yeah,
okay,
he's longer. Freaking
because he's way cooler than I am. And yeah, let's all pray for Neil because blessed be he's not feeling well tonight. And there we go. Somebody speak in tongues. I never learned how. But so like with the music subscription things, it's like, okay, so I want to go with who's paying at least the closest to ethically, right? If I've got a producer who says, hey, a whole section of my production team only gets paid through Apple Music. Well, okay, done. I'll do Apple Music. But now you come on, Mikey, and you're like, actually, Mike, Apple Music's not that great for XYZ reason. Instead, you should go with these guys. So I guess my question is, is it best to come up with a definitive list of the correct corporations and the incorrect corporations, the sanctioned streaming services and the less ones? Or is it better that we're all just trying to take time to really think through and be intentional and less judgmental about what everybody else is doing or how they think through and wrestle with? Maybe the fact that I just used the word judgmental tips my hat kind of where I'm at. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is a clear line in the sand that nobody should ever cross, or you're not a true humanist. I don't know. So enlighten me if there is, you or anybody else who wants to call in.
So I think there's a couple of different bites at the apple there, because there's one way for sure, like you should definitely only go to like the people's website and then like purchase a physical album, let them ship it out to you, and then you enjoy it that way. You don't broadcast it out, and you kind of like keep it sacred, and you like keep it like that way, and you don't like there's no leak out of the information at all. The problem with the streaming services is that like it allows more people to get exposure. And this is what I was going to say about the AI music before. They are putting up, I think it's over 2 million AI songs have been generated in like this year. So when I told people like it's going to be hard for smaller people to get noticed when there's going to be a literal flood of non-human music coming out, this is what I'm talking about. Like it is completely contaminated the market. Like it is like most of these streaming services are flooded with playlists that are half real people, half AI stuff, because they just fill these playlists off. And the more people listen, the more money they make. Who owns this music? Who knows? Where did they get the inspiration for all this stuff from? Who knows? Is anyone getting compensated fairly? Who knows? Is this the company themselves making the music and then claiming that they're artists? Who knows? No, there's no transparency for any of this stuff. Damn you, gorillas, and your artistic license. But like I think that there are some companies that should like no one should support, right? Yeah. But I think the main thing is you have to find out from the artist what is the best way to support them. And if they're like Twitch streaming or something like that, and the best way to get them money is to give them bits on there for watching their stream, do it that way. You know what I mean? Stream their music on the thing and they get like the penny every 2 years or whatever. But, you know, find a way to get stuff to them, because I've been saying this for over a decade. If you like cool things, you have to pay for them, or they will go away.
Yeah.
Someone's got to pay.
No, and that's really a great principle right there. Is if you want cool things, you have to pay for them, right? So, but then does that become a situation? And we have we're going to take a call here in a few minutes, but or a few moments or something like that. But then the question becomes, should only those who have discretionary income be allowed the privilege of quote unquote cool things?
But if they're streaming somewhere and you're just like a loyal person in the chat, you're going to get shit. So artists out there, make sure you're thanking your people and you take care of your, you know, your day ones and all the people that support you in those kinds of ways. Because I don't think any artist would be like, oh, I would never let this person listen for free. Of course, they'd be like, oh, just don't tell anybody. All right, just here, take it. Like, fine, It's fine. You know what I mean? I don't think artists are out there to be the corporation to fight another corporation. I think they just want people to feel what they feel through the weird like pattern recognition of, again, that prefrontal cortex that just our ears are shaped a certain way. So A440 sounds good. So turn that shit up. And oh, you like it too? I feel, we're feeling this thing together because of these vibrations in air. That's a fun thing. Like, so I think it's fun that I think it's weird, but I also think it's fun that we all enjoy noise. Yeah. It's just fucking no, but we love it so much. It's so important. And it's a way for us to talk to each other without words. Yeah. That costs something. So even if loving on the person is all that you can do, fucking talk their shit up. You know what I'm saying? Make some bullshit. Yo, lie about their fucking mixtape. Say it was great. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I think in all of this, part of it is just generally, and we have a caller here. I want to talk with them here in a moment. But I think in all of this, it's learning to find a way to be more intentional with what we do and to increase that intentionality, right? And how are we making choices that help us both enjoy life like music does, right? And feel life more fully, live an embodied humanity, while at the same time doing it in a way that best respects and empowers and enables the humans around us, especially the creators who are helping us enjoy it, that most fully respects and empowers them as well and compensates them for what they're giving us. So definitely. All right. Well, we have a caller, and folks, learning to run the controls back here. I'm about, for the very first time in my entire life, after having spent 13 years as a guest on the other side of the screen, for the first time, endowed with powers of magical greatness, now on this side of the interwebs and of the technical wonderments, I'm going to, very first time ever, click a green little button labeled talk to accept my first caller. Here we go. Let's not drop them. Hello, is this Adam? I believe we have Adam on the line. Adam, pronouns he, him, from Sweden, looks like. Is that correct? I don't think we are hearing Adam from Sweden. At least I'm not.
We got some messages in the private chat.
Let's see.
From our producer.
Uh-oh, I'm fucking it up. They're firing me already. No caller yet. Adam from Sweden is not a caller?
Well, Adam from Sweden, you're supposed to call in, damn it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so it
was a good lead.
The intrusive thoughts in the back of my head wanted to yell out "fuck Sweden" in response, but I would never do that because that would be mean and that would not be very humanist of me to just say "fuck Sweden." I love
I mean-
Sweden. What do I have against Sweden? But that's the intrusive little power monkeys in the back of my skull. Oh,
I think their national sport is like, what is that? The biathlon, where they cross country ski and then the rifle. Like, I don't know if the Swedes are the ones. They got
Right?
endurance. They know the land.
they're
They can
great.
ski. Talk to moose. I made the last one up. I made the last one.
Talk to moose? I want to talk to a moose. That sounds fun.
No, I'm good. I get it. All right. Small zoo story, because we
Yeah.
vaguely brought up animals.
Give me
So
the zoo. Let's do it.
So I'm a member of the Brookfield Zoological Society, and when I go and visit my animals there,
Your animals. Yes.
my dear friends,
Yes.
they have apparently like the oldest like okapi breeding program like ever. It was like set up at Brookfield, and okapis they look kind of like a mix between a giraffe and like a zebra. They have black and white stripes on their hind parts. Producers, if you guys can grab a picture and put it up on screen for me, that would be excellent. But they're very unique looking critters, and they're essentially like they live in the Congo and like the rainforest of the Congo, and they didn't even discover them until like almost 1900. They're like 7 feet tall.
Wow.
They're like a
Really?
7-foot tall deer, giraffe, zebra mix. And they're just quiet and they like to be by themselves. I was like, I love this. I want to be an okapi. So I go and see them every time. They're one of my favoriteest critters now.
Really?
See them and they're doing well.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I love that. I don't get.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, wow. And what is this called?
It's an okapi.
An okapi. Kind of like, a copy of a zebra and giraffe and deer. And it's an okapi of those things.
It's like a forest giraffe.
Yeah.
So not quite 13 feet, maybe like 7 feet, but it's like, and it's like, how come no one discovered these? Like, because it's in the rainforest of the Congo and there's constant war. So no one was going in there with their little, funky little wide brimmed hat and the khaki shorts and a magnifying glass and a leather side carry, side saddlebag or something like that. That wasn't happening. Everyone was staying the hell out of Dodge.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's been a while. It has been a minute since I have been to a zoo for typical zoo reasons, at least. The Minnesota State Zoo, or Minnesota, is it Minnesota State Zoo? It's just the Minnesota Zoo. The Minnesota Zoo. It's kind of like, so in the Twin Cities, there's Como Park Zoo, which is the equivalent of Lincoln Park Zoo for the Chicagoans out there. And then in the suburbs, we have Minnesota Zoo, and it's like this huge, sprawling whatnot. I haven't been there in literal decades. I don't think I've been there since I moved to Minnesota in 2018. But what I have gone there a couple times for is they do a Halloween Jack-o'-lantern of Lights festival every October. And it's like thousands and thousands of hand-carved jack-o'-lanterns. And they are rather amazing. But I am curious though, right? Because, so you are on the Brookfield Zoo. What you said?
I'm a member.
You're a member of the Brookfield Conservatory or something like that. Oh, who was born in Minnesota, Minneapolis? Oh, was that Wes?
Yeah.
It just said Skeptic Haven, right? So, okay. Michael. Oh, really? Okay, yeah. Rural Minnesota right here all the way and living in the Twin Cities now for the first time. But no, that's cool. Maybe Michael should call in and talk to us about his Minnesota history.
I'm looking up this Minnesota Zoo on YouTube, and they have a very good channel. 485 acres.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's a good size. It's a good size.
Damn.
Yeah. I love
just
to
put the zoo around the wild, and there's
Yeah. Oh, so you said you're a member. I took that to mean like you were a member on like some board or something, but maybe it was just a regular zoo membership. Oh, okay. I was gonna
But
ask
I like to
for
feel
some cool
like I'm
stories or
part.
what led to.
I just felt
Yeah.
like I was like part of an exclusive club. I don't know who's, but a lot of people in there.
Yeah.
A lot of people scooting around there with kids and stuff like that. I'm like, I know these
Yeah.
people are not members because these children do not act as if they are members. And if you are going to the zoo, anybody out there, PSA, if you see somebody trying to record an animal doing something cool, shut up.
Oh.
Stop talking. Stop ruining everybody's videos with your loud asses. You know how many
Oh.
you know how many clips I got that I'm gonna have to put music behind because some idiot Karen was, no, Bartholomew, you can use
Oh.
it later. Look, there's a cheetah. And they were in front of the leopards, and I'm just like, God, shut up. Shut up. You're so dumb.
Oh, man. So here's something we could talk about, and maybe this would trigger someone wanting, I hate the word trigger. I try to avoid words like trigger or even just shoot me an email. Now I'll send off an email. I want to, I don't know.
Blast me.
Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't need to avoid such terminology. But it's kind of like when one argument trumps another. I'm trying to avoid using that word as well. Tell me I'm wrong. Call in. Tell me I'm wrong. Let's talk. But where was I going? I guess with zoos and stuff. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe someone wants to call in on this. But what is, of course, there is more scrutiny. I say, of course, but maybe it's not obvious. But it seems to me, at least, that there is increasing scrutiny against zoos. But I don't know that would mean that zoos just shouldn't exist for any reason whatsoever. So it would seem to me that there might be some ethical uses of zoos. And certainly it's fun to just go and watch, right? So I don't want to down on the fact that you're a member. In fact, I'm saying, I think that despite the scrutiny against zoos, because I could hear some people pointing saying, yeah, zoos are bad. Fuck you, Mikey. And I'm not saying fuck you, Mikey. I'm not saying fuck you, Mikey.
But they're thinking it.
So what do you think? Any thoughts, or should I just keep rambling?
I mean, zoos are not circuses.
Yeah.
A lot of times, especially with the Okapis at Brookfield, there's only, I think, 15,000 in the wild, but they can't even get accurate numbers or whatever. So them and like 5 other zoos are pretty much responsible for keeping the species alive if the worst should happen over there. So the conservatory nature and the funds that it attracts, like in St. Louis, the rich whites down there in Missouri decided a long time ago that they could bury a lot of their money in like endowments into the arts and into just like state parks and stuff like that. So they have Forest Park down there, which is enormous. And the zoo is free forever. The art museum is free forever. The history museum is free forever. It's just, I mean, it's the way of things. And if we want to preserve the critters that we have, we do need some zoo animals. But I'm not saying we should go SeaWorld in it. Like, I think SeaWorlds should be gone. I don't think we need like animal amusement parks. I think that gimmicky kind of stuff is inappropriate. If they want to have like an aquarium and preserve some species and show off some others, like that is what it is. Educational stuff is awesome, but yeah, I don't think training. I don't even know why they do dolphin shows and stuff like that. Like, why do we need dolphins in Chicago? Not a fan.
Well, it's that circus mentality, right?
Yeah.
And I think theologically speaking, from a Christian point of view, right? Like, humanity's role is to fucking dominate and subjugate the world, right? So let's put them on display. That's their whole purpose. And do they even have any sense of awareness and feeling anyway? So, but hey, right here, brother Neil, man, We're learning. Okay. Thank you. I'm learning with you. And I
This is Neil's fault.
apologize. I feel so bad that you're out tonight, but thank you for giving me the opportunity to come in here and drive freewheeling. I just got to click for the first time in my entire life to click a show on stream button. And yours, Neil, my good friend, my good man, your comment was the first one I've ever selected in my entire life to show on a screen. So thank you for giving me the opportunity. And honestly, we wish you well, brother. We hope you're home and better soon. So
I'll get you next time, my pretty.
oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It sucks. Boy, life sucks sometimes, doesn't it, folks? It really fucking does. Yeah.
Neil got to stop eating out of the garbage. We gotta lock the lid on the dumpster. Neil coming around, gonna get himself sick again.
Geez. Oh, geez. Neil, don't let Mikey, denigrate and harass you. What the hell? What are you doing, Mike?
It's my love language.
Man. I'd be sick too if I had to deal with that bullshit all day, every day. Man.
He didn't get it. He didn't get it Saturday. That's why he's sick. I was out with the fam.
Need the Saturday fix. Hey?
We watched Wicked, Too Wicked for Good. Wicked.
Oh yeah, the new one.
Good.
The second half, right? How was it?
Yeah. I mean, I saw the musical in high school. They got us tickets to go see it down at the Chicago theater. So I was already ready for this movie to be good. Come on, man. If you saw the first one, y'all, and you already know the story, you already know what's about to happen.
Yeah.
Your heart's about to be snapped into a million pieces. You're about to see some crazy production. And I mean, it's just, damn. They're very good at this.
Yeah.
I highly recommend, especially if you guys have seen.
Yeah, I loved it. I saw the stage performance a couple times, like 15, 20 years ago, but honestly, I don't remember how it ends. I saw the first half in the theaters, and that's what bugged me, man. That's what bugged me. Okay. Is, it says it's Wicked. It doesn't say Wicked Part 1. It doesn't say Wicked the first half. It just says Wicked. And then you get to the end and you find out, oh, guess what? It's actually just the first half. We decided to take a 3-hour stage musical, double it by adding words that interpret all the songs, because we can't expect listeners nowadays, moviegoers, to pay attention to what the songs are saying. So we have to add just as much time to add lines that expand normal dialogue that expands on the music, therefore turning a 3-hour musical into a 6-hour musical / talk fest. And now we got to cut it in half, but we're not going to tell you until you get to the end. It's psych. This is just the halfway point. Time for your 2-year intermission. Anyway.
I was sitting there like, they better get the moving if they're going to be like, oh, there's going to be a second movie. I'm like, they ain't moving nowhere near fast enough.
Right.
What are we doing?
Exactly.
You're going to have to stop talking to these goats, young lady. You ain't got time for that. You got 6 or 7 more numbers to go.
For real.
But Cynthia Erivo is just what a cheat code. What a cheat code to have her in your project. Damn. What a cheat code. Whew.
Now, remind me who she is. Is
Elphaba.
she? Yeah. Okay. I was going to say she was one of the actors, right? So,
yeah.
But I haven't seen Wicked. Was it Wicked for Good? Wicked for All? Whatever it is. I haven't seen part 2.
Too wicked, too witchy. Too fast, too furious, too witchy.
Yeah. So it's been a while since I've thought too deeply about Wicked, the second movie. Let's see.
And then Cynthia Erivo plays Elphaba, the lady, the green hair or the green skinned one, and then Ariana Grande plays Glinda, Good Witch.
Okay, yeah. Oh, that's right, Ariana Grande. I'm like, there was somebody in there that I already knew who it was before, they started, but yeah, I don't. So, okay. So I'm asking the private chat just to confirm, and I'm not getting a square answer just yet. So I want to make sure.
It's on
So
screen.
it has appeared for a few minutes like we might have a caller, but I don't want to mess up like I did last time. Yeah, we're ready? Okay. Then I am, for the first time, about to click a green button and have a voice on the other hand. We are making history here, folks and family.
It's happening. It's
All
happening.
right. I believe we are now pulling up Robert. Robert, no pronouns or gender given, but appears of a European location. Robert, welcome to the call. Are you there?
Hi, and thanks for that introduction. I didn't know this was such an occasion.
Yes. Well, welcome to
You're
such
here.
an occasion with this, my fine human. How are you doing tonight?
Honored. Great. I'm doing great.
Excellent, excellent. So sounds like you have a question for us. Rather than me trying to stammer it out there, why don't you go ahead and just tell us what you're thinking?
Yeah, I was wondering if you guys believe that you can become a Christian and still remain a rational, free thinker.
Oh, so let me make sure I'm hearing you correctly. You want to know, do we believe that it's possible for someone to be a believing theistic Christian and be moral, right? Be a moral, rational, free
well-
thinker, right? Is that what I have?
Well, moral and rational are kind of different, but yes,
Yeah.
both moral and rational.
And I apologize
and we
there.
can-
I read moral in some of the description, but that is not the word you used in your call. So I apologize. But no, so a rational free thinker. Can you be a Christian and be a rational free thinker? That's your call, right? Or your question?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. Now, may I ask, if it's all right for me to ask, may I ask, do you see yourself as a Christian, or do you see yourself as a non-theist, an atheist, or kind of where are you at in things?
I used to be an atheist all my life, even maybe an anti-theist. But recently I started practicing Catholicism, and now I consider myself a theist.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It sounds like quite a journey that must have taken. I'd love to, if it's all right, that I ask a few questions before we jump further into your reason for the call. But I would just love to hear a little bit more about your journey of going from an atheist, an anti-theist, to becoming a Roman Catholic Christian. What brought you there? What did that look like?
Well, I was raised in Eastern Europe, and as a former communist country, there is a practice of being communist, atheistic, like being against the church, thinking that it's the opiate of the masses and stuff like that. And yes, that's how I was raised by my father, especially. But recently, I've been engaging with more serious theistic thinkers. I led Thomas Aquinas, Summa Theologica, and I started thinking that what I believed to be the Christian faith was both a parody of itself, and also like a very fundamentalist version that is actually not very mainline, especially in the Catholic faith.
So did I hear you correctly that what you saw as Christian, that parodied version of Christianity, that's what was not the mainline version? Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
And now you see yourself as more mainline Catholic?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because young Earth creationism or anti-evolution beliefs, like those are actually not things taught by the Catholic Church. It's like just evangelical, well, more common in America, but fundamentalist beliefs.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. And I want to I want to applaud you, I guess, for the fact that you were willing to look at the things you're looking at in an attempt to find clarity in how in the world around you, right? You're willing to step outside of what you describe as the parodied version of Christian faith. And then you found something that seemed to reflect reality more fully, or do a more honest job of conveying that reality. So I want to applaud you for being willing to change course. Okay. To go real quickly to addressing the question you came on here asking, do I think, and Mikey might have a very different perspective on this, do I think, though, that it is possible for someone to be a believing, theistic Christian? And I clarify that because I've known Christians that consider themselves non-theists. That's a conundrum, but it's true. And I think it works. That's another conversation. But where it's possible to be a believing Christian who then also is a rational freethinker. And I do think that's possible. In fact, when I was a Christian minister, I was never a Catholic, but I grew up as an evangelical Christian, became a minister. And over the course of my experience in the Christian faith, I found myself growing more and more progressive in just shifting. Just things were the way I saw the world and the way I saw the faith and the way I read my Bible. Right here it is. It's still right here, folks. The one I preached from. The more I read it, the more it was always continually shifting. And I always encouraged the folks that were in our faith community together to always be willing to adapt and shift your belief and your thought to reality around you, or to your growing understanding of that reality. I considered myself and encouraged our congregation to be free thinkers. I said, never allow the tradition that you're raised in or the tradition you're currently in, never allow what the elders of the church, or even I myself as your pastor, never allow any of us to constrain your view of the world. Always be seeking, searching, digging. And I did that myself, and which allowed me to continually and grow and shift and adapt how I saw the world, and eventually brought me out of the faith entirely, where I just couldn't see a God justifiably, and became an atheist, right? So, but I did see myself as a free thinker, and I look back at myself, and I was a free thinker. I freely thought my way out of faith. That's how free I was thinking, but I freely chose faith as well over and over again along the way. So it seems to me that you did, as much as we might discuss or disagree with some of the conclusions you made along the way. Surely if we take time to talk about some of the thought processes you had along the way, surely we would disagree or have some ways where we could sharpen thoughts and whatnot. But nonetheless, the idea, is it possible for you to be, yeah, you freely thought your way into faith, it would seem. And I can't disagree with that. What's your, I guess we could have a thought on what is the terminology, quote unquote, free thinker, as it's typically used. Oftentimes words are funny things. They can have different meanings in different contexts. And the word free thinker can almost become a bit of jargon, where it has this whole historical meaning of somebody who has freely thought their way out of faith, where you're freely thinking your way into it. So that bit of nuanced usage of the word aside, I do think there's a secondary usage that would apply to yourself. Yeah, absolutely. As I was about to shift to Mikey, maybe now is not the best time. but no, does that, hearing that though, Robert, does that, what are your thoughts hearing all of that? Or maybe now, Mikey, you have something to weigh in on. Tell me if you disagree with anything I said. What are your thoughts? Is it possible to be is it possible to be a Christian and still be a rational free thinker at the same time?
If you're asking me, or you're asking him again?
You know,
I
I didn't know if you had anything to weigh in, Mikey. Sorry, timing was a little unideal. I'm sorry you got pulled away just as I was tossing it to see if you wanted to weigh in on anything. It's up to you.
No, it's good. I'm ready either way. But Robert, if you're still there, can you clarify for me? Did you ask, like, can a Christian, or did you say, can someone become a Christian and then remain a rational, moral, free thinker? Was that the question? Robert! Oh, you got to put him back on screen.
Is Robert gone?
He's got to be on screen for us to hear him.
I'm
go.
Still hearing you guys.
There we go. Sorry about that.
Yeah. I don't know how much you caught of that, but Mikey's asking a clarifying question now.
Yeah, I heard everything.
Okay.
So I think that the point of the question is, I used to think that I'm thinking rationally and I'm following the evidence of reality. And that concluded me that there's no good evidence because there to be a God, so I should not believe that there is a God. And now I'm at the point there are still things that there is no good evidence or good reason to think that, but it's not unreasonable or unrational to believe in God based on just faith alone, because there's no contradictory evidence to point to it not being the case.
So because it doesn't prove anything, it can't be disproven? Then it's just kind of like if it's just a hapless kind of exercise, and if it's just something somebody likes to do, then I guess there's no argument there. But I think when something doesn't always have positive side effects, then we can start kind of questioning whether or not it is good, helpful, or indeed useful to believe said things if they can have negative outcomes that may have some. There might be some good things in it, but if it's worse for the person overall, should they still believe it anyway?
Yeah, well, now you're almost asking a different question now, Robert, in terms of we've gone away from, is it possible to be a Christian and still be a free thinker, or to become a Christian and still be a free thinker? And now we're getting a bit more nuanced into your process of getting there, it seems.
Yeah, sorry, I was more trying to ask about being rational. And I used to call myself a free thinker, but now I have to follow dogma and the teaching of the church, and I have to learn being obedient and accept faith without a rational reason to do so.
So
do you have to?
You have to. Yeah. Why do you have to embrace dogma? Like, does it? So as a free thinker, do you freely think the dogma makes sense? Are you able to look at it and say, yes, this dogma, it reflects the world as I now see it. Like, this is true, and I want to live according to its dictates, depending on what the dogma is? Or is it something that now you're compelled to do, even though you don't want? That's not what sounds like a free thinker in my mind. That is not free thought. That is now, maybe you freely put yourself under the constraints of something that you don't totally buy anymore, but now it sounds like you're stuck. So that's the thing. Can you be a free thinker and be a Christian? I think you can. I think it's possible to be a free thinker and be a Christian, especially if you freely thought your way into it rather than being born into it. But what you're describing does not sound like free thought at all to me, honestly.
It sounds like mandated thought.
Yeah.
Like, instead of free thought, it's like you are allowed to think this as much as you want. You get this option.
And Robert, it makes me wonder, and I kind of wondered this from the beginning, but I don't want to charge in with a bunch of assumptions, but it makes me wonder a little bit more about what really was going on behind the scenes in your apparently free choice to enter Christian belief, Roman Catholic Christian belief. You mentioned how your view of the church previously had been this parodied version of it. And now then you came to understand it more, and you believed what it was telling you. You know, yeah, I'm curious, who was it that was, where were you getting the information? What were the circumstances under which you got the information? It sounds really funny that you would want to willingly put yourself under a dogma that you don't necessarily believe in.
Well, it's not that I don't believe it, but I don't fully understand it, or I believe it, I just don't have a rational reason to believe it. I have a faith-based reason. I take a leap of faith to follow it willingly. And yes, it's kind of a willful bondage on myself, just like marriage is a constraint of myself because I marry a woman who I love. I became a part of a church that I grow to love and respect more and more. And my process was kind of like, I don't know if you're familiar with Cosmic Skeptic, and I watched a lot of his YouTube videos and stuff, and I saw him growing as a person, as a becoming more familiar with Catholic teaching and Christian history, and saw that he started going to university and studying theology, and he started to engage with Christians in a more honest and respectful way. And I was listening to his interview with Jordan Peterson, and I started to think, yes, maybe this doesn't make all sense to me yet, but maybe it's not all just a joke where people believe in whatever they want, and just like cosmic leprechauns or the flying spaghetti monster, it's not all just a bad joke of credulous, unintelligent people. Maybe there are serious, smart people who can take Christianity seriously as well.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you this, and thank you for sharing and expanding a bit more fully, Robert, into the context. I really do appreciate that. And I agree with you in a number of things, such as I agree with you that not everybody who has some variety of theistic belief, who believes in a God, that they're not all the caricatures that the atheist community sometimes makes them out to be. Not automatically stupid, not automatically dumb, not automatically just turning off their brains. I think what I would encourage you to do. Well, let me ask you, how long ago was this that you? And maybe if you said it, I apologize, I missed it or didn't grab onto it. But how long ago was this that you would say you really became a Christian follower or a Catholic follower?
I started going to Mass 2 years ago, and a year ago I started catechism and preparing for my confirmation.
So I'll tell you that there are, as much as I say, and I'm not taking it back, that I agree with a number of things you said. And yes, being a person of supernatural faith doesn't automatically make you dumb or all of the caricatures, right? All the worst stereotypes and straw men and etc. At the same time, though, you did say a number of things that very, very much concern me. So, for instance, part of your big question, the big conversation is it possible for you to be a Christian and still be rational, still be a free thinker? Okay, rational. And then just a handful of minutes ago, you said you're trying to learn the catechism, and not all of the catechism. It's not all rational. It's faith-based. It's not reason-based, and trying to turn off and not be as rational as you used to. And you specifically use that word. Maybe it wasn't intentionally. Maybe it just slipped out, but you said that. And I guess that would be my concern. And that would be what I would urge you to do, is to not stop being rational and to ask yourself, okay, does it make sense? One, is there a God? Okay. If there is a God, which again, It sounds like you watch a lot of stuff. You're paying somewhat attention, and I don't want to pull us in other routes than what you really called in to discuss. And we have another caller, and we're approaching 90 minutes in, so we want to be mindful of the time and a few other things here this evening. But one, if we believe that, okay, so there is a God, and then entering into this Catholic system of, yeah, okay, you're entering into a system where you're right. They tell you, or at least there's different traditions. Not all traditions, not all Catholic teachers are the same. And I get that. But it sounds like maybe what you're receiving is falling in line with what the typical is, which is, okay, we are here to tell you, you don't need to open your Bible. You can keep it closed. Come to catechism, open your brain, and we will tell you what goes inside now. That is not free thought. That is not being reasonable. That is not being rational. And so I would only enter into something like that if you fully understand. I have seen it all. I have studied everything. And the reality is that this is the only way, which again, family, I will tell you, that is not the way. But I know I'm not going to convince you that in the next 30 seconds. But that's what you've entered into. So with what you're describing is not free thought. It is not reasonable. It is not rational. It is taking your brain, and it is the stereotype of what we're saying. You are saying, I've accumulated all this thought, and I am now going to hand it over. And that is dangerous thinking, at least in my mind. Mikey, anything you want to jump in with?
Yeah, I would say, if not to have you question your whole faith on the air and do the whole thing, but and this would be relatively simple to answer. Like, so like if you're, like you just said, you started going to mass again, or for the first time, what would have to happen what would have to happen at mass, or what would have to be like something that you read that would make you just like say, I'm walking away from this? Like, what would have to happen at either at a reading, like a Bible study kind of thing, or at mass? What would have to happen for you to be like, this isn't for me?
Tough question.
See how
like,
but if I was in any room and someone's like, well, what would have to happen in here for you to like say this room isn't for you? If something racialist came up or something bigoted came up, I'm like, oh, I'm out of here. But you hesitated. So that means you're not being a free thinker. You're not being rational, because you're willing to overlook, like, I stun locked you. That shouldn't happen. You're a rational, free thinking person. And if he started yelling at my kids or something like that, I'm out of here. Like, something should have come. So that's just a little inkling to let you know that I get the and especially with historical context, having a centralized belief system can be stabilizing for areas in crisis. Trust me, I know. Look at the histories of blacks in America. Like, the church was essential for many parts of our culture, because we are part of the wider African diaspora, but we are kind of our own little thing over here. It's just us, and we're our own little group of people. We have our own way of worshiping. We have our own churches. We do things our own way. And that was beneficial for us for a time. But are we still using something that was only temporarily useful permanently? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Robert, hopefully we've given you some things to think on. We do want to take a few minutes for this next caller. I don't want to push you off too quickly, but we do need to wrap this up. Do you want to take a moment to respond here and share any final words before we go to the next caller?
Last 3 minutes are yours.
Yeah, just two things that I took a second to answer you, because I was thinking of something that's likely to happen. Obviously, if something racial came up and I would have to change churches and report it to the diocese, and hopefully someone would do something about that. And if not, then I would have to seriously rethink this part of my life. And the other part was,
Sorry.
am I being subjected to something that's making my brain and dogmatizing it? That's not my experience so far. In catechism, we are always encouraged to ask questions and to come to an understanding ourselves and not just accept everything on faith. Like, we have to accept that Jesus died for our sins and came back to life, and some basic facts that without that you would not be any kind of Christian. But no, we don't have to accept everything. I ask a lot of questions about Mary, perpetual virginity, stuff like that. And so far, I could come to an understanding that is I can rationalize, but maybe I'm fooling myself. I don't know.
Well, Robert, I'll tell you this, okay? Even though we need to go, like, I think this is great. Like, I think you're a great kind of caller to have on. This is the type of conversation we want. Even now, you're bringing up more things where I feel like we could talk for another hour. Okay, we do need to go to the next caller and wrap this out. But I would invite you to come back next week and continue this conversation and talk more about these additional nuances beyond it, because this was really good. And I thank you for calling in. And I really just encourage you to keep asking questions, keep your eyes open, keep looking at for truth and thinking through rationally everything they're teaching you. Does this make sense? Maybe it's a matter for some things of a new church, a new local congregation, or maybe with some questions it just means it's not it entirely. But yeah, let's continue that conversation later. And thanks again for calling in, Robert. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Robert.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. So now we have Daniel pushing the green button here. All right, folks. So we have Daniel. Pronouns are he, him, from California, wanting to pick up some conversation from earlier in the evening. Daniel, welcome to the call, and tell us what conversation you'd like to pick up with and where we go from here. Oh. Hey, Daniel. Daniel, sorry to stop you right there. You're coming through really quiet and muffled. It's almost difficult to really catch you at all. If there's any changes you can make on your side.
It sounds like it connected to your headphones or something, like across the room.
Yeah. And we're hearing from the person you talked with earlier that it was much clearer, and now all of a sudden it's not. So maybe something switched over on headphones or something.
Really?
Okay, that's better.
Yeah.
I'm still using
that's better.
headphones. Can you hear me?
Okay, you're good now.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. Hi. Thank you for
Much better.
thank you for having me. I just wanted to further the discussion on some of the things you mentioned earlier, including people, not having to deal with certain things that are happening in terms of, the consumerism, like you mentioned how people don't have to think about slaughtering an animal, and also you were discussing things about zoos. I didn't catch the whole conversation, but essentially I wanted to further the discussion on animal ethics, more specifically veganism. Basically, I'm a vegan activist, and I go on the streets to talk to people about veganism. And I feel that a lot of times the things people tell me in response are not very rational and logical. For example, sometimes I'll talk to people and I'll hear from them as a reason for why they exploit animals in the case of, like, let's just say for food, like meat, milk, eggs, and these kinds of things. A lot of times people will mention to me, well, plants feel pain, right? But if we actually think about this kind of thing, like we know based on evidence, based on scientific evidence, that plants don't actually feel pain. They don't even have systems that are required to feel pain or even have experience. So, there's other kinds of things I hear, like we've been doing it for a very long time, exploiting animals for a really long time. And sure, maybe thousands of years ago, we needed to do it to survive in certain situations. But in this day and age, we don't. And if we also apply that same sort of logic to other things, we would say that's probably not a good reason to continue doing something, right? Like, like people have been killing people for a very long time. Rape and all kinds of other discriminations have been happening for a very long time. Doesn't indicate to us that it is a good thing to do or that we should continue doing those things. So yeah, I just want to kind of get your guys' thoughts on this subject in general and maybe some of the things I just mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and thanks for calling, Daniel. Certainly appreciate that. And I definitely, this is something that I have wrestled with over the years. For a number of years, or a number of years back, I suppose you'd say, I said, you know what, I think I need to become a vegan. I need to go in the route of veganism, and started trying to make some steps that way. I kind of joked to myself for a while, maybe this is the kind of joke that's actually not that funny. I don't know, but I kind of joked to myself saying, you know what, well, the first step to making a big life change and shift is just saying I need to do it, and just taking time to let that marinate in my mind before I get to the point where I can actually make that shift and make that change. And so I had that for a number of years. And then I'm like, okay, for a number of years, you've been saying, Drew, you've been saying that you eventually need to become vegan. And yet you haven't actually taken any real steps. And so I started trying to do that. And this was a couple of years back. And I started trying to make shifts and changes where I was eating, vegan hamburgers and vegan meats and things like that. I already eat pretty much all veggies. So I do that. I try and avoid carbs, or at least the white carbs, as they say. But then I started running into other problems because and I already eat tons of nuts and things like that, right? So I get some protein that way. But so I'm running into other problems, though, where all of these meat substitutes were filled with so much chemicals that was then causing other problems. So I guess where I don't necessarily have any magic answers here, but but I have a couple thoughts. Okay, where I have landed now today, after going back and forth and exploring a few different elements along this journey, is that from a protein standpoint, from eating animals standpoint, looking at, okay, are humans built in a way where our nutrients, our health definitely is benefited by. We are, yes, maybe there are some workarounds in some ways, but that where we are built, evolutionarily speaking, to consume meats. And then it becomes more a question of, am I doing it ethically in the sense that we are raising the animals in a respectful, as much as possible, enjoyable system. Okay, humane system, sure, right? That respects them, that is treating them well, that is giving them the greatest quality of life as possible. And then when it is time to then end their life, where it is done humanely, efficiently, quickly, with as little pain as possible. Of course, if we were any other species in the world, well, there isn't the rational thought process that leads them to stop killing other animals. That's just part of how it is. Now, of course, we though have brains and we have consciousness and we have the ability to say, oh, well, I kind of choose how we evolve in the sense that I can decide how I want to live and I can break some of those evolutionary traits that we've been given. That is true. And I guess where I'm at now is kind of like something we were talking about earlier is it's less that there is the one all be all correct answer in everything, but more how can we come at it from various viewpoints and make sure that whatever we're choosing on some of these things, we're doing so intentionally and trying to minimize as much harm as possible. So I am guessing that that is not an answer that will satisfy you, but that is where I'm at currently. And maybe one day I'll shift again, but that's where I'm at currently. Mikey, do you want to jump in on anything? And then of course we want to toss it back to you as well, Daniel, but we do also have to realize that we do need to wrap up the call here pretty soon as we are already over time. But Mikey, what are your thoughts there?
Make them stop being so. No, I'm not going to say that normal bullshit trope. I appreciate the conversation, and it's just like the AI thing. Like people, I can do so much good, and it helps me with my business, and I have all of these positives that are coming out. But then on the other end of the equal sign, there's just, toxic fumes going out into someone else's neighborhood. So it's like, at what point can the bad not, or can the good be justified when so much bad is coming from it? I would love, and I say this to people all the time, I know for a fact my grandkids probably won't eat meat. You know what I mean? We'll probably, in 100 years from now, we will have probably moved on to something else that is not our current layout. Between the screw worms and idiot boys tariffs and all of these markets drying up, people are going to have to find, we're probably all going to be eating largely plant-based diets, probably heavily soy or corn-based, with fortified with things to give us what we need, because we're going to be on nutrition biscuits here in a minute. So I don't think meat's going to be a problem forever, especially in this country if things continue the way they're going. But as far as the ethics of it, like I get why people are upset about it, but that is from a very specific Western kind of mindset that everybody doesn't have the luxury of living. So I understand it. I just don't adhere to it. If that's an answer.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'd like to respond to that. I don't think that this is like a diet. First of all, I should clarify what veganism is, because there's a lot of misconception in what veganism is. So veganism is a moral principle or an ethical principle that states that humans should not exploit other sentient beings, or we could say other animals. And in recognition of that, vegans would not exploit animals for food, of course, because currently animals are exploited for like meat, milk, eggs. But we also don't exploit animals for like clothes. We don't
leather.
use skins, like leather, fur, wool. But also we don't exploit animals for entertainment. Like you mentioned zoos earlier, we don't use them for zoos, circuses, SeaWorld, hunting, trophy hunting, dog fights, whatever it is where they use animals for entertainment. And there's many other facets to which animals are exploited. So it's the opposition of treating animals as objects or resources to our benefit. That's what veganism is. Whereas currently, the reason we're able to exploit animals in all these different ways that I just mentioned is because we view them well, I don't, but others view them as
humans,
some sort of object. So it's like an objectification, like that allows, permits people in their mind, I guess, to make this okay. Yeah. So I disagree. I think that plant-based diet. So I do want to separate veganism from plant-based diet, because sometimes people confuse the two together. So plant-based diet is like specifically the dietary aspect, whereas veganism is the ethical principle. And in application of veganism, of course, it considers the diet, it considers what you eat, because you're doing that 3 times a day. So you would oppose animal exploitation in what you eat, as well as all the other things, right? And I think that rice and beans, lentils, these kinds of things are available to everybody, and it's literally the cheapest food on the planet. There's actually been a study done on this, Oxford study that studied 150 different countries with 8 different diet types, and they found that the vegan diet was literally the cheapest. So I do think that this, like, when you think about it logically, like, rice and beans, these grains and legumes and these kinds of things are widely available and very, very cheap, especially when you buy it in bulk. They store for a very long time as well. The other thing I do wanted to respond to is you mentioned something about how we're evolved to consume meat. And I highly disagree with this as well, because it is recognized by the world's largest organization of nutrition experts. It's called the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. It consists of over 100,000 registered dietitians, which have looked at all the evidence, all the different studies, the totality of evidence, and have come to the conclusion that a plant-based diet is appropriate for all stages of life. And actually go further to state that it can actually reduce risk for some of the most common diseases in society, like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, cancer, obesity. So there's a lot of compelling evidence that actually shows the opposite of what we're saying. It seems like we're actually not evolved to consume animal products based on scientific evidence. It actually improves our health when we eliminate these kinds of things from our diet. The Adventist Health Study is also an indication of this. Adventist Health Study 1 and 2. So there's like hundreds of studies that are showing the immense benefits of excluding animal products from your diet. So I don't think that evolution is a good stance, or a good, I would say it's not a good reason. And even if we were evolved to do this, I would say that's also not a good reason. Like, if we were evolved to be able to like we're evolved to, let's just say, take advantage of women or something like that, I still say it.
No, absolutely. Well, and Daniel, I definitely, there's a distinction between we've evolved to have the ability to do something, and we've evolved to where our own nutrition, or our own nutritional health rather, requires something. Those are two different things. But nonetheless, I mean, I take all of your points seriously. On those last points about have we really evolved where we find greater nutritional health through it, or have we not? I've seen conflicting studies and stories on that. That said, I'm going to admit this is not my area of expertise, and I'm not going to claim to have it as my area of expertise. And so, this, and also due for time as well. We're not going to be able to go super long on this, as you may have heard us say on the previous call as well. One thing though, I do appreciate your distinction as well between veganism and simply a plant-based diet. The reason why I focused on that when I first responded to your call is because I think for most people, that's the most difficult, and I could be wrong on this, but speaking for myself at least, the part that keeps us from full veganism is more the obstacles in the plant-based diet, right? That's the quote unquote hardest part, because we just love eating it so much, right? I guess in a way, the primary thing I was thinking as you were delineating those two paths is that, okay, well then I am vegan, because I do respect, none of what I eat is taken frivolously or without respect. I see myself much more so as some of these other cultures that are known for historically and traditionally taking time to thank the animal that died for their own sustenance so that they could live. My practice, and something I've tried to do with my family as well, is taking time as we eat to realize that lives were given for this, and that this is part of, almost, if you will, the proverbial circle of life where we are intertwined. I'm sure there's probably ways where folks can say, well, but that doesn't hold up because X, Y, and Z. I'm not sure anything any human does fully holds up through every X, Y, and Z. but I know that this is where I'm trying to have what I think, at least by the description you just gave, which is how I would describe veganism as well, that maybe I am more vegan than I give my credit. It's kind of like my friend that says, even though I say I'm not actually polyamorous, but my poly friend says, oh, but you are poly in mindset. That makes you polyamorous. So maybe in this, well, you are veganism, even though you're not plant-based. I don't know. But mentally, that's where I'm at. So,
Well,
yeah.
I do want to.
Why don't
Can I
you give us,
respond to that?
Mikey, would it, yeah, hold on one second. Just sort of a time taking thing.
And then last question for me for the follow-up round is, what about the conservation that a lot of zoos do where they preserve some of the species where like the Congo is war ravaged? You know what I mean? They're doing what they got to do to survive. They do not give a shit about saving that forest because there's some fucked up deer living over it. Like they don't care. So that's all I had about that. And I'll let you finish off.
Yeah. Why don't you take the last 3 minutes to finish out the call, and then we're going to have to go, Daniel. But seriously, we really appreciate you. The last 3 minutes is yours.
Yeah, sure. I do want to respond to the respect element first, because that's more relevant to veganism. When we talk about being respectful to someone, we have to really think about the meaning of it. I know there's a couple different meanings. We could be respectful to someone like by showing admiration to, right? Like I respect my teacher. It generally means like you have like some sort of admiration or you look up to this. But the respect I'm talking about, and generally when we're talking about morals, we're talking about considering the other's self-interest, right? And their best interests, in generally speaking. So when I say like, when I'm asking someone, do you respect animals? I'm generally asking, do you think animals deserve moral consideration? That's just another way of describing that. Not necessarily like, do you look up to animals, or do you look like, you know, like, do you like animals or something like that? It's just, do you think that animals deserve respect? Is like, do you think they deserve moral consideration? So that's generally, and I think when you say respectfully killing someone, I think that's an oxymoron. Same thing with like humane killing. I think these things are contradictory, because when we talk about humane, it needs to show compassion and benevolence. And I don't think if you're taking somebody's life against their will when they don't want to die, I don't think that's a compassionate or benevolent thing. I don't think that's a respectful thing either, to do that to someone that doesn't want to die. And yeah, I do, I know you might jump on that terminology of someone, and I do think there are some ones rather than some things, because something reduces them to objects again, whereas some ones implies they're individuals with their own personalities and self-interest and subjective experiences.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Absolutely. No, thank you. I want to make sure I'm not cutting you off at the end. I know there was a pause, but I really do appreciate that. And I noticed it, by the way, when you said someone, I was like, someone, oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. He's using some, yeah, no, I like it. And I respect that.
Yeah.
I think that was
Conservation.
I do feel like our language is also inclined to objectify animals. And so a lot of the phrases and stuff we have, they always imply some sort of devaluing animals in some sense. So
Daniel,
that's another aspect.
Just to direct a little bit, would you mind taking 1 minute to speak to Mikey's thought on zoos, though it might not always feel like it's their primary purpose? Do zoos have a legitimate purpose in conservation, helping protect animals that would likely go extinct on their own?
Yeah, so this is something I've tried to look a little deeper into. So it seems that zoos have an interest also in making profit, and this is the issue. And a lot of times what they pitch to be a conservation effort is generally an effort to sustain their business, right? And a lot of times what they do is they'll bring in animals from the wild. They'll capture animals from the wild, hold them captive, have captive breeding programs in the zoo, right? And then if they try to release these animals into the wild, they're just not adapted for it. They'll never do well. So it's just proliferating the cycle of like exploiting these animals, generally for the purpose of entertainment, right? And
You're calling bullshit,
it really
right?
have a lot of value in education.
Mhm.
Because we can learn about these animals through, scientific studies, and like just looking at animals is now, maybe observing their behavior. We could also do this in their natural environments, which is a better way to approach it, to observe their behavior, right, in their natural environment.
Are you going to go to the Congo to go see an okapi?
I'm sorry, what was that about the Congo?
Are you going to go to the Congo to go see an okapi?
I'm not familiar with that. What is that?
Okay, the okapi was the animal that I was talking about for the conservation thing. Their native forests are in the DRC.
Okay.
So there is no kind of leaving their forests are being deforested because there are militias that are doing what they got to do, and because of Western society and its inability to leave other countries and their well-being well enough alone, Belgium, that country is in crisis. So should the animals go extinct because the country's in crisis?
I'm sorry, I still don't understand this situation completely, and it might be
unless you disagree. Yeah. Go ahead. If we can, yeah, Mikey, do you want to try? He said he's not quite grasping it just yet.
He was still asking. What was the final clarifying thing you said, Daniel?
I mean, in general, so there's also these places called sanctuaries, where sanctuaries are places where they keep animals that have been rescued from like these torturous industries like meat, dairy, and egg industries, and they keep them there for their entire life. And the intention of the sanctuary, I think this is really key, is the intention. The intention of the sanctuary is to take care of these animals in their best interest. So, and of course, they need funding as well to keep these sanctuaries alive in order for them to be able to take care of these animals. Because the reality is, like, these domesticated species, because of human intervention, have domesticated cows, pigs, and chickens to the point where they really cannot survive on their own. So
don't tell that to the boars.
Sanctuaries exist. Excuse me?
I said, don't tell that to the boars. They're eating everything.
Well, the boars are not necessarily like the domesticated species, right? Like the pigs are the domesticated species. So so we need to have these places where, after we've taken them out of these horrific situations of factory farms and just other exploitative industries, where they can live out their lives in peace, just like you and I, just like our cats and dogs, right? Which is, of course, what they want. They don't want to suffer. They don't want to die. They want to be, happy with their friends and families, just like you and I. And I think we should afford them the basic moral consideration of those self-interests there, just like we would to our cats and dogs. I don't see a logical reason why we would think it's okay to. I don't think it's okay to just exploit them for solely selfish pleasures, usually for taste pleasure.
Yeah. I don't know that anybody is debating the exploiting part right now, especially in terms of zoos versus sanctuaries, etc. I think the main concern here is, do we have enough spaces? And where are those spaces? We need spaces where the okapis, etc., have places where they can go and where we can protect and conserve and learn more about them if possible, so that we can continue to help them. And maybe that can be done in sanctuaries. Maybe there might be some institutions beyond pure sanctuaries where we can provide that as well. I think in all of this, we want to continue to learn. We want to continue to study. We want to continue to grow. We want to continue to expose bullshit, and not simply just assume that we already know all the details about everything. And I do appreciate your call, Daniel. I thank you for calling in, and I thank you for pressing against things that both Mikey and I have said and said, well, is that bullshit? Maybe it is, maybe it's not. And I think Mikey brings up some good points as well. For me, who fucking knows if what I'm talking about half the time is bullshit? I hope not. But seriously, thank you for your call, Daniel. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate your consideration on this issue. And it's like you mentioned earlier, of people being scared of being wrong. And I definitely think this is one of the biggest things, because this is something they've been doing for most of their entire life. They associate a lot of good memories, social interactions with, consuming animal products, happy time, barbecue, so this is something people don't generally want to admit is a wrong thing. But it is really important to address this issue and change our actions based on our, new understanding of this, at least. But thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot. I look forward to hearing from you again. All right. Take care, Daniel.
Of course. Take care.
All right. Fun stuff. Good conversations. Really, seriously, both of the callers tonight. Thank you for calling in. Others that maybe were just about to, but didn't quite, would heavily encourage you to consider it next time. Okay. I know there are a couple folks that looks like they were thinking, were in there in the background, and then decided, you know what, maybe tonight's not the night. Well, maybe next time is the night where we get to talk. So let's see. We do have some folks here. YouTube members, we do want to take a moment to applaud and thank Kelly Laughlin. Good to see you there, fam. Logan Fisher, Cynthia McDonald, Hey, Infidel, Angela, Stop the Stupidity, Skeptical Scott, what's going on, my man? And tons of mice. Thank you so much for your membership. Patreons include Karen Butcher, Logan Fisher once again, Amanda McLeod, Rion, Dan D. The Bible says what? Sunny Shell, hello, and Phil Calderone. Thank you so much for your support and for not only helping everyone here on the team feel the love, but also really, truly helping Skeptic Haven fulfill its mission, push forward, keeping the channel going strong. And along with that, before you all take off, I want to share with you, I hope we get to keep talking. We have a new show that is going to be launching here shortly. And hey, I know I told y'all I was really here first and foremost just to learn how to do the back end after being on shows as a guest in the guest seat for 15 years? I don't know, something like that. My first show ever was with Aaron Raw on the Raw Men podcast back in 2014, I think. So yeah, not quite 14 years. I don't know what year it was. Anyway, now I'm learning how to actually host, how to do the technology. And the reason why clicking on the big green buttons is because soon, very soon, we're starting a new show that somehow they're stupid enough to let me hold some controls.
The fools.
And we're going to have some fun, y'all. So I won't say anything more because we have a video to show you, to say it for me. So production, whenever you're ready, go ahead and let it roll, folks. Pop some popcorn or have it all ready. Here we go.
Kick it, DJ. Kick it, DJ.
Kick it. Leaving your faith can blow up your entire life. And while the rebuild leads to new freedom, it also leads to new questions, new challenges, new chaos. And that's why we've created Life After Faith, a new live call-in show helping folks navigate life after God stuff, living and laughing in the real world. So tune in and call in for community, coaching, and even a bullshit Bible verse of the week. Because the most important question isn't just what was your story, it's what do you want it to be now? Yeah, what do you want it to be now? All right, folks. So yeah, actually our first guest co-host going to be amazing. The one and only Candace Gorham is going to be joining us Wednesday, April 8th, as we kick this show out of the box and get it rolling. So come join us. Do call in, do tune in. But first, before that, we have more great shows over the next week, right? And so, of course, we have AJ's new show, absolutely amazing, on Thursday nights. So make sure to join that, 7 p.m. there. And we'll be right back here, of course, next Sunday. Oh, and we have another new show, The Thought Experiment. I believe we have another debate coming up. What is it? I think that's this Saturday is the next one of those. So definitely check everything out on the channel. Look at it all there. Critical Call. Let's Talk. The Thought Experiment. And yes, coming up on the 9th, the very newest, Life After Faith. Come check us out, hang out, build community, be a part of the chat, be a part of the calls. Just be real, be human, and let's have a great time just fucking finding our way through and figuring this shit out, folks. Mikey, you have anything else to say?
Yeah, go check me out over at the Bin Podcast Network, where I am one of the head hooligans. Our TTRPG is coming back this week on Tuesday. You got me and Tim doing the headliners on Tuesdays and Thursdays, giving you the rational, moral, what was the other one? The rational, moral, free thinking take on the news and the encroaching dystopian future that we will all find ourselves in. So where to buy all the seeds and how to plumb your own house, because that's where we're going to be here, people. But you can catch all those things over at the Bin Podcast Network, over on YouTube, and the same thing over on Twitch. See you there.
Oof. Amazing. Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. And sorry, I almost forgot to, pass it to you. I was
going to get in either way.
Yeah, you're going to get it.
I was getting in there.
yeah. Absolutely. Production, is there anything else that we need to do for Let's Talk before we close it out? Okay. All right, see y'all. Have a great Sunday. Have a great week. We'll see y'all on the other side.
Peace out, motherfucker.
This is Skeptic Haven. Let's talk.